Toy fans, Aaron here. Today, if you haven't noticed already by the thumbnail and description, looking at something a little bit different. This is not an official Star Wars item put out by Hasbro, at least if you couldn't tell already. But back in December, I'd picked up a 3D printer and someone pointed me in the direction of Desert-Octopus on Instagram. He's got lots of Star Wars files available for purchase on Colts3D.com, and the first one that I downloaded was the Mudhorn, as seen in The Mandalorian. And so I thought I'd do a little review on it. First up, here's how the images look on the website. These are the files that you download. As far as cost, the file itself only cost me $3 for the download, and it was less than a spool of filament, which is, $20 to $25. So in the end, not bad. I guess if you're interested in any of the printer settings, this was done on an Ender 5 Plus using I think it was the superfine setting. Anyways, the layer height is 0.12 millimeter. I printed each of these pieces. You've got 4 legs. The main part of the head, which includes the horn, and then the jaw and the main body. So 7 individual pieces to print out. I did these in such a manner that the support would be hidden as much as possible, using the bottom of the feet, insides of the jaw, and kind of the inner parts of the mouth, and same for the main body where it would be hidden by the head. And with those individually printed figures, you can see that the 4 legs fit in with a little peg design. The jaw kind of slides onto a little, I guess we'll call it a ball joint at the bottom of the head, and then the head itself, another ball joint where it just slides onto the main body. Certainly, as you can tell already, I haven't painted this item. Wanted to just show this off kind of in its raw form, how it would look in case, if you're into 3D printing or maybe you're thinking about it, so that you too can make your own toys. But this will give you a good idea of how the thing comes out on its own. Overall, I do love the design of this. I think the creation of the design makes it look, quite representative of the Mudhorn from The Mandalorian. One of the things that I love about the design of this item and why I chose this one first is because it's basically all fur. And honestly, I felt like that would hide a lot of the imperfections due to the printing process, layer lines and such. And I think even in some of the smoother areas up on top of the body and throughout the front of the face, things still came out pretty good. I'm very pleased with how this looks. Now, it is hard to tell, but there are eyes that are indeed sculpted or designed within the head. It's this little dot. You kind of have a brow that kind of extends over it. You can make out some nostrils there on the Mudhorn. Definitely make out the design of the teeth running both on the upper part of the jaw and on the lower. And the horn itself, while not painted to help enhance any of the design, I love the various cracks, crevices that are present for this sculpt. And then obviously the remainder of the body is essentially, it's just a lot of fur. I love the shagginess to it. Some of the edges aren't perfect, and that's more to my print. I have not done any cleanup on this. There's definitely little plastic strands here and there that can get cleaned off. Up along the top of the body, you've got some smooth areas for the fur, or maybe it's bare spots to the skin. I'm not 100% certain. In his file that he's got rendered online, it is painted in a light brown color, separate from the dark color of the fur, but you've kind of got some scaling done on there, and that translated very well onto the printed plastic here. Quick look at the underbelly where you've got a mix of fur once again and a little bit of that scaling or reptilian skin look going on. Along the bottom of each of the legs, you have a nice design for the hoof of each foot. Certainly identifiable without even being painted, where it separates out from the fur of the leg. You get some various striations and kind of crevices and such of that being done into that hoof. Overall dimensions, say he's sitting at about 8.5 inches long, and to the tip of that horn is about 6 3/4 of an inch. And I'd say he's roughly 3.5 inches wide. These are not exact measurements, but pretty darn close. And overall, I think he scales wonderfully within the 3 3/4 inch line. You can see him here with the Vintage Collection Mandalorian figure, and I'm thrilled. Again, I know it's not painted, and the great thing is when I do eventually paint this, if I mess up, guess what? I can just print another one. So a lot of positives to this. I'd say I really only have 2 negative comments here, and I am not that experienced in printing, so some of it could be on my end. It could be maybe some plastic that has shrunk or something, but the head, there's just no real tension to it, to both the head and the jaw. So basically, while it's got some decent articulation, the head either stays all the way up or flops all the way down, and same with the jaw. And you just kind of got to get it to, when you lift up, give it a little bit of pressure, and then things will stay. I'm not experienced enough, like I said, to know whether that is a result of the way this was designed or something that just kind of went off in the printing process. And the second thing is the design of the jaw is such that along the sides, on each side of the jaw, just as it extends out from the front, it's very thin in there. And I think I printed 4 or 5 jaws before I was able to pull the support off without breaking the outer edges. I just had to find the sweet spot so that the support would come off and I wouldn't rip the jaw. And real quick, just to go through the articulation that you do get with this, the head swivels up and down. And I feel like you have good range of motion with that. You got movement with the jaw, and then each of the 4 legs swivels front to back. Decent range of motion here for me. And so, yeah, that's, it's really all I got to say about this is I'm excited for the opportunities that having a 3D printer provides with other people who are much more creative in designing their own action figures and thankfully sell those files online. So kind of looking forward to growing my action figure collection a little bit here with some items that I can print off. So that's going to wrap this one up. Let me know your thoughts on this design, this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.